Right now at 6, a ride home with a stranger suddenly takes a horrifying turn.
This guy tried to abduct me.
Plus, why some advocates say what Oregon needs to fix education is more choice.
The whole point of this system is to give all these kids a good education.
It's going to be a direct draw from public education to pay for private school.
Why voters may have the final say. And later,
get ready for the population to balloon in downtown Portland this week. We have Fleet Week, the Junior Parade in Northeast Portland, and of course the Grand Floral Parade. What you need to know to get around coming up.
Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko. We begin at 6 with that chilling surveillance video of a ride home gone wrong with a woman begging for help after she says she was kidnapped by a stranger. Daisy Caballero was in court this afternoon as the suspect made his first appearance. Daisy?
Yeah, David, this happened early Friday morning, and thankfully the woman was able to get away with just bumps and bruises. She told police that the 25-year-old suspect, Rafet, offered her a ride home, and when he got there to drop her off, things took a turn for the worst.
This guy tried to abduct me.
Ring camera video captures this gut-wrenching moment, showing a woman calling 911 and begging for help.
I'm having this on his door.
After she says she was kidnapped by a stranger who offered her a ride home near Southeast 146th Avenue and Division. That suspect, 25-year-old Rafet, who's now facing felony charges, including kidnapping, sex abuse, and assault.
And enters a plea of not guilty to each count.
According to Portland police, the 47-year-old woman took Fett's offer and got in his car. Once they got to Southeast 112th Avenue and Division, the victim opened her door to get out. That's when police say Fett accelerated to a high speed and didn't allow her to leave. The woman started fighting the suspect as he drove. He then punched her in the face. Down the street, she opened the door at Southeast 112th and Lincoln and jumped out of the moving car and ran up to this house, banging on the door for help. You can see here the woman pulling up her pants to check her bloody knee as the suspect drives away.
He did try to abduct me.
While still on the phone with 911 dispatchers, she moved behind this car as she waited for police. Hours later, Fett's car was spotted on Northeast 82nd and Beach Street and was arrested.
Now, the owner of that surveillance video you saw did not want to go on camera with us, but I did ask him if he was surprised by what happened, and he told me, unfortunately, no, adding that street has gotten quite the reputation these last few years. Rafet's next court date is June 11th. David, back to you.
Just glad the survivor is okay, all things considered here. Thank you, Daisy. In your headlines tonight, one person is dead after a fire destroyed a barn outside of Ridgefield. Clark Cowlitz Fire Rescue responded to the rural property on Northwest 51st Avenue around 7 this morning. The building was engulfed and flames were spreading to a camper trailer and a vehicle. Firefighters say they found the body inside after they put the blaze out. Another person who lives on the property was taken to the hospital after suffering a medical emergency. Investigators are looking into the cause of the fire. Clackamas County Chair Tootie Smith is recovering from what she's calling a minor heart attack. In a statement released this afternoon, Smith says she's received immediate medical care and had a medical procedure. She says she's been advised by doctors to rest and recover for a few weeks, and Vice Chair Ben West will chair board meetings in her absence. Smith is up for re-election and will face former Clackamas County Sheriff Craig Roberts in a runoff in November. The man who escaped police custody at the Oregon State Hospital only to end up stuck in a pond in Portland waiting to be rescued will now spend 22 years in prison. 39-year-old Christopher Prey was sentenced for crimes that include his escape and the attempted murder, robbery, and assault cases he'd previously been charged with. Prey stole a van at the hospital last year, got away from police in a chase along I-5, and eventually turned up in the Rose City a few days later, where authorities found him stuck in the mud. And speaking of mud, Highway 101 is back open north of Manzanita after it was shut early this morning by a landslide. ODOT reopened one lane by 10 and then reopened the highway fully just after noon. It says crews will continue to monitor the site and there could be additional lane closures for maintenance. Matt?
All right, David, thank you very much. It is a cloudy one. We still have showers coming down, but Dried out a lot since yesterday, right, which is a pretty low bar. 60 degrees right now, and we actually have quite a bit of dry weather in the forecast. We just really need to roll through the next 24 hours before it totally dries out. Right now, showers over the coast and the Coast Range up along the Columbia River. Not much really happening in the valleys at all, so we're in pretty good shape. The rainfall, about 1/3 of an inch. That's just since midnight. That's on top of the record rainfall of 6,900ths of an inch that we had yesterday. So we're over an inch for the last 2 days, which is about what we expected, and that's roughly 2/3 of the rain that we normally get for the entire month of June, and here we are on the second day of the month. So it really has been impressive. So showers will end tomorrow, about this time tomorrow. Sunny and warm for the junior parade on Wednesday. Couldn't be better. Still sunny and very warm on Saturday. We'll be up around 90 on Saturday, but for the parade, the temperatures, of course, will be a lot cooler because it's earlier in the day, in the upper 60s and into the low 70s. So it's looking pretty good for a Grand Floral Parade and Rose Festival. David?
Yeah, perfect parade weather for everyone involved. Thank you, Matt. We are looking ahead to November's election with a local group trying to get a measure on the ballot in Oregon for what they call school choice that would allocate state funding to families, which then could be used to send students to private or charter schools. Thomas Schultz is live this evening at Portland's Lincoln High. Thomas, you talked to people for and against this kind of voucher system. What'd you learn?
Yeah, well, David, proponents of school choice say that it gives students better learning opportunities, and they argue for years Oregon students have struggled in public schools, and this is an avenue to make sure all students succeed by giving thousands of dollars to each kid annually to attend schools outside the public school system. Tens of thousands of Oregonians agree with them and have signed amendments which they hope to get on the November ballot.
It lets parents who know their children, know the needs of their kids, be the ones to say, hey, my child needs to go to this school.
Now, many parents disagree with that. They say that school choice measures benefit the wealthiest families, many of which have already left public school systems, by providing state funding to families to keep students out of those public schools. And experts agree. They say studies do not show a difference in learning among students in public schools versus students in charter schools, though they say the measure does take money away from those public school systems, handing it directly to parents without instituting the same regulations that schools now have to abide by. Parents and experts also say these measures harm the most vulnerable of kids.
All this is going to do is guarantee that some wealthy families get more money to send their kids to private schools and leave everyone else behind.
It is unclear to me in this initiative how students with disabilities would be guaranteed their rights of service.
And at the end of the day, Burke, the PSU expert there, says that this would be bad for public schools. Now, of course, there's still a long way till November. The advocates who are trying to get this measure on the ballot still need to get more than 100,000 signatures by the end of this month just to put it in front of voters in November. David?
As you said, Thomas, a long way to go. Thanks so much. Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler and Multnomah County Chair Jessica Vega-Peterson have now released a final version of their homeless response plan. Some of the key goals we're going to walk you through include sheltering or housing an additional 2,700 people living on the streets, increasing shelter capacity by 40%, boosting the supply of affordable housing, and opening a 24/7 drop-off sobering center. County commissioners and Portland City Council are set to vote on the plan next month. You can get into the fine print of this on Multnomah County's website. Well, we just talked about it with Matt. The Rose Festival is in full swing with some fan favorites about to make their way down our streets and up our rivers. We, of course, are talking about the Grand Floral Parade, Fleet Week, and all the celebration and crowds, of course, that go along with it. Joe Ranieri's live in Northeast Portland with a look ahead to a big week. Joe?
Hey, good evening to you, David. Now, this is by far the biggest week for the Rose Festival. You have two parades and Fleet Week. One of those parades will go through here along Sandy Boulevard come Wednesday afternoon. Already signs here along Sandy urging drivers not to park along this stretch of road. And speaking of Fleet Week, it's going to be causing some issues for people trying to drive into downtown because of the bridge lifts. It's by far one of the most anticipated weeks of the year in Portland.
I couldn't ask for anything more. You know, the weather's cooperating most days of the week. We're getting so many people out in downtown, and we're really excited for this week and the events to come.
And this year won't be any different. Nick Brodnicki is the Chief Operating Officer of the Portland Rose Festival. He says this week's festivities will kick off starting Wednesday.
there is something for everyone. On Wednesday, the Fred Meyer Junior Parade in the Hollywood District, we had so many bands ask to participate this year that we had to look at the timing for the parade and how long it was going to take.
The Junior Parade isn't the only thing that's going to bring people into downtown. So will Fleet Week. But before Navy ships start docking along the waterfront, you're going to run into major delays trying to get to and from the city.
We're going to be planning for a major service disruption here. We've got 3 bridges that need to lift in order to get these Fleet Week ships actually to their place in the river.
Mark Miller with TriMet says some of those bridge lifts can take up to 30 minutes, which is expected to make it difficult for drivers to get around. But Miller says they already have plans in place to make it easy for people using public transportation.
We're going to have shuttle bus service. They're going to be using one of the bridges that isn't lifted to connect these 2 segments of MAX. It's going to take time.
A week of events.
Over the next week, we'll definitely be in the 6 figures. We expect 100,000 people across all of our events, and we usually expect that at the Grand Floral Parade itself.
That will end with the city's biggest parade on Saturday, the Grand Floral Parade.
I'm looking forward to the smiles on the faces of all of the kids in the region.
David, just an incredible amount of people that will be flooding the streets of downtown Portland and throughout parts of Northeast Portland. Of course, a lot of people, this is a tradition for them. A lot of them have made memories over the years participating in Fleet Week, as well as the Grand Floral Parade and the Junior Parade as well. As for when those ships will be coming into town, I spoke with a spokesperson with the Rose Festival, said the window will be right around 2 o'clock in the afternoon to about 5 o'clock on Wednesday night. So that's the prime window for a lot of people who will be traveling in and out of town, so you might want to plan accordingly. Back to you.
Yeah, it sounds like the sunshine is going to be back just in time. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. Hey,